Hi there again. I'm Senator Chris Marr from Spokane's 6th Legislative District, and welcome once more to my weekly legislative update. This year's 105-day session is now in its 5th week, and we're already just a few weeks away from our first cutoff deadline for advancing bills through the legislative process. New bills are still being introduced and are being heard in their various policy committees for the first time. One of those bills is one I introduced last week to amend and strengthen Initiative 937. Now, that's the measure approved by voters requiring electric utilities to meet certain conservation goals and buy prescribed amounts of renewable energy from sources such as wind, geothermal, biomass, and solar stations. This is the first year that the legislature can change that law without a supermajority vote, and an array of proposals have been introduced. Now, some would greatly weaken the law, while others would make provisions far too onerous on recession-weary businesses and cash-strapped households. My plan, which is under Senate Bill 5840, charts out a pragmatic path that increases I-937's renewable energy targets while also making it easier for utilities to meet them. We can do that with an increased focus on energy conservation and an understanding that a kilowatt saved is just as good, maybe even better than a kilowatt generated. My plan would allow utilities to count the energy they save through new conservation measures towards meeting their renewable energy target. This would be of great assistance to low-growth utilities in economically depressed areas that already have a sufficient power supply. Otherwise, they'd have to give up some of their cheap hydroelectric power to buy higher produced renewable energy to meet their I-937 target, which really burdens their ratepayers with higher rates. My bill also would help utilities by allowing them to buy qualifying renewable power from anywhere in the Western power grid to meet that target. It also would allow efficiencies achieved at hydroelectric dams to count, as well as energy from small dams with capacities under 30 megawatts. What's more, it also would allow additional forms of biomass energy to count towards the target. That would include energy generated from food and yard waste and discarded wood products such as bark and wood chips. Now, make no mistake, here in Washington, we are committed to cleaning up our environment by greening up our economy. And we can get there in ways that focus on conserving energy and don't burden our families and businesses already suffering under the weight of a very difficult economy. As always, I encourage you to give my office a call or send me an email if you'd like to weigh in on this subject or really on any other matter before the legislature. Thanks again for your time, and remember to check in next week for another update.